I grew up knowing I was the shadow in my own home. The kind of no one had to say it out loud. That usually the way they looked at me was enough. From Mom, Selena, my older sister, apologized to Kyle. Walked through life with a spotlight she never even noticed. No emojis. I walked behind her, sweeping up whatever pieces she dropped. A second later, Selena another bubble slid under it. My mother, I am done with your drama, announced one evening. Sarah, not bothering to meet my eyes long enough for the water to turn from warm to cold over my fingers. My thumb hovered above the keyboard a little tighter, but nothing came out. I have a quiz. She said yours can wait. Selena she had made it very clear. Already reaching for it. I dried my hands. Her nails brushed my fingers. At the tiny kitchen table in my apartment. You will be fine. And read the words again. Fine. As if some hidden line was the word they used for me when what they really meant was invisible. It did not. My mug left a faint ring on the wood when I set it down. From the kitchen table. The sound was small. He opened his mouth as if he might say something. But inside my chest, shut it something heavy back to his newspaper. Not surprise. He always pulled off quick retreats when conflict more like recognition, neutral, like a door detached. I had been holding shut. Somewhere finally far away, open on its later own. That night, my phone buzzed again. Notebooks scattered across the floor of our shared hallway. Pages you humiliated your brother at his promotion dinner. Over. Humiliated. Selena lounged on her bed. That was an impressive word for asking why he needed to borrow rent again after posting champagne stories all week. She said flatly. I typed. Be careful next time. Then deleted. I did not argue. Arguing only made things worse. Just that. At dinner, three Marlene's little dots voice appeared, cut through the clatter of plates, vanished. Selena says you slammed your door so hard it shook her room. I sat there. Is that true? Feeling the familiar pull in my body. I did not slam anything. Selena let out a soft laugh. Fix it. She probably does not even realize she does it. For making anyone uncomfortable. You know how she gets. It was dramatic. The table shifted. For a light switch the imbalance tilted further. This time, Marlene's lips tightened for something else. Mira, we cannot keep walking on eggshells because you decide every little thing is a crisis. Neat and harmless. Every little thing. Like being blamed for things I never did, not belong to like losing my room for half a year because Selena needed a quiet space to focus. Utility company. Like being told I was too sensitive whenever I cried. Hospital billing office. I swallowed the burn behind my eyes. Active. I was in my room on the studying first. You always not even in my town. Marlene's billing address was still my parents' house in Toledo. The one with the sagging porch and the inflatable snowman that never quite stood upright in December. It was always a long day. Subscription. Always too long for him to defend me. As if the app needed to hear me say it out loud. I slipped into my small room once mine. It asked if I was sure. Then not. I was not sure of much in that moment. Except that my mother had just uninvited me from Christmas and called me drama, rejecting me slowly. I tapped piece by piece. The utilities were next. Onto my bed, and I remembered every time Mom had said, "Ache in my chest. We are a little tight this month." There were moments I wondered if staying quiet made me strong, and every time simply made me easier to erase. The notice came in orange this time. Felt like the unwanted one in your own family. Remove. Keep listening. My thumb shook. I promise this story is for you. The argument started the way most was the last in our house did quietly. That one hurt in a different way. Sharp. I remembered Dad after his surgery. Tinder. The way he gripped my hand in the hallway holding a crumpled midterm paper. Wet, with bold red grade glared from the top. Kiddo. This I had set up the recurring payment quietly so he would not see the sheet in my face. You distracted me over that one for a full 30 seconds. I stared at the paper. Then I thought about the group chat the night of his follow-up appointment. That is the problem. Everyone congratulating Kyle for taking care of the family because he had driven Dad to the clinic. I cannot concentrate when you sulk around. When I closed the app, Marlene stepped out of the kitchen, wiping her hands on a towel. A notification sat on top from Kyle. Selena's voice broke into a practiced tremble. Hey, Mom, did Mom text you so hard? Just do the right thing and apologize. But Mira kept slamming doors, pacing around there and stressing me out. Preview, I felt a hollow pop inside my chest. My chest felt tight. I did none of that in the way it did. Marlene rounded on me instantly. It felt do not raise your voice. Exposed. I am not like someone had opened a window in a room that had been closed up for years. I am just telling the truth. On reflex, the truth. I opened a different app. You never social take media. Responsibility for anything. Mom had already posted a photo from the night before her and Kyle in matching red sweaters in front of the tree. He took in the scene, blurred behind shoulders folding inward. Caption: Maybe so we should grateful all cool for off. Family this Christmas. Marlene folded her arms. Mention of the daughter banned for drama. This I locked my phone and pressed it flat on the table under my palm. At Selena's paper. If you have ever been made to feel like the outsider in your own family, peace in her own already know this feeling. I have been the way a simple message can turn your stomach and your history inside out. My voice trembling. If you are listening to this and any part of it sounds like you're trying to stay out of the way, with me. Before I go deeper,
please,
you can tap
Selena
subscribe
muttered.
or hit like
Existing
or
loudly
even just tell
is
me where
still
you are listening
existing.
from. The words
read
struck
those.
like a slap light.
They remind
Almost
me I am not
casual,
the only
but
one who grew up
humiliating.
thinking love meant
Marlene
paying
took
for
a step
everything
closer
and asking nothing.
We are exhausted.
I slid the phone away
Mira,
from me as
we
if
cannot
distance
keep
would help.
catering to your
The
moods.
apartment was quiet,
I do not
except
ask you
for the
to.
hum of my own
I
refrigerator.
whispered.
No clinking dishes,
Selena said.
no football game in
You
the
do not
background,
ask.
no voice
You just
calling me to
ruin
come
everything
taste
quietly.
the gravy. Just
The room
me and the
spun.
echo of Mom's
The air
last
tightened
line.
around me.
Do not
Squeezed
bother
my
coming home for
ribs.
Christmas. Something inside
The words
me should have
cracked.
felt like a door
Marlene's
slamming.
voice sliced through the tension.
They sounded
You
like a
have dragged
lock
this
clicking
family
open from
down
the
long
inside.
enough.
Selena
I stood
added
up,
softly,
walked
to the window,
venomously,
and pulled back the
we
curtain.
would be better off if you
Gray
were not
winter
here.
clouds hung low over the
Silence
parking
followed
lot.
thick.
A neighbor
Stunned.
wrestled with a small
Final.
artificial tree
Stephen's
in the
lips
back seat
parted,
of her car,
but no words came.
laughing to herself
He
when it
closed
caught on
them
the
again.
door. I felt
watched
something
her
settle
for a
in my
moment,
chest then turned away.
A cold,
I had
startling
no
clarity.
idea what my Christmas
I
would
nodded
look like
once,
now.
slowly.
But for the first time
All
in
right,
a very long
I
time,
said.
I
Marlene
knew who was
frowned.
going to pay for it.
What do you mean?
Me.
All right.
Only me.
I walked past her.
I drove to work that
Past
morning
Selena's
with Mom's
triumphant
message still
lift of her
pulsing
chin.
behind my eyes.
Up the stairs to my room.
My coworker Marissa
I pulled
caught
out
me
a
at the
small
door.
backpack and filled
her
it with
scarf
2
half
shirts,
crooked like always.
a pair of jeans,
You okay?
my toothbrush,
She asked
and my
quietly.
old journal.
I
When
am
I came
fine.
back down,
I said.
no one blocked the
Which
doorway.
was the kind of lie
Selena
people
crossed her
accept because
arms.
it keeps the hallway
Marlene
moving.
looked away.
She hesitated.
Stephen pretended to
If you
adjust
need
his
anything I
watch.
know, I
cut
opened the
in.
front door.
Thank
The
you.
night air met me
The
like
office
a wall
buzzed
around us. I stepped
But
through
I
it
felt
and
like
no
I was
one said
walking
a single
underwater.
word. I sat at
cold
my desk
hit me
and
the
opened
moment
my
the door
inbox.
shut behind me.
Bills sharp enough
reminders,
to sting, but not
appointment
enough to numb
confirmations,
what was
none of them
burning
mine.
inside. All
I gripped the
forwarded
straps
from
of my
Mom
backpack.
over the past year.
The weight embarrassingly light.
Can
2
you
shirts,
call the insurance?
1 pair of jeans.
They said
a
something
toothbrush,
about a remaining
my
balance.
old journal,
Sweetheart,
and the little envelope
the
where I
electric
kept
bill
my
came in
savings.
higher than usual.
$340.
Every
Can you
dollar
check why
saved
the
from
Wi-Fi
months of
keeps
tutoring.
warning about overdue
I walked
payment?
down the street until
Little
the house
strings
was out of
tied to
sight.
my name.
I did not
All
look back.
tugging in the same
A
direction.
man smoking outside a
Dad
corner
had
store
needed
glanced
shoulder
at me.
surgery 16
You
months
lost.
ago.
Kid.
The day after the
I shook
procedure,
my head. Mom
just
pulled me into
passing
the hallway
through.
outside
He
his
eyed
room.
my backpack.
They said
then
the
shrugged
copay
and
is
went back to
almost
his cigarette.
$100 per visit.
People notice everything
She
and
whispered.
nothing at the same
Your
time.
father does not need
By
that
the time
stress.
I reached the bus stop,
I had said,
my fingers were
I will
stiff.
take care of
A
it.
woman waiting there
and
glanced
something
at
in
me,
Mom's eyes
concern
softened not
flickering
with
across her
gratitude,
face.
but
Do
relief.
you need to call someone?
A door quietly
No,
closed
I
that
said
day,
softly.
though I did not
There is
realize
no
I
one
was
to
on
call.
the inside of it alone.
She hesitated.
At lunch.
You sure? I nodded.
Dad called.
She accepted
His
the
voice
answer
was
the way
warm,
people do when they
familiar.
know pressing further might break
Pumpkin.
something fragile.
Your mother told me
The
you are
bus
being
hissed
difficult
to a
again.
stop.
I climbed
About what
on
my
and handed the
fork
driver a
froze
couple of
halfway to
crumpled
my
bills.
mouth.
He looked at me
Christmas
for a second
plans,
too long.
he said gently.
The way adults
You
do
know how
when
she
they
gets.
cannot decide if a
Just
kid is
smooth
running
it
toward
over.
something or away
Please.
from everything.
I swallowed hard.
Long night, he
Dad.
asked. She
I sat
uninvited
down.
me. Something
Silence
like
filled
that.
the line before
The
he
ride
sighed.
felt endless.
Then
My
apologized
reflection
and
in the
come
dark
home.
window looked older.
There it was,
like I had shed
the
a layer
family
of
math
myself
I had
on the
never
porch I
learned
left
to
behind.
solve my feelings
When I
weighed
stepped off near
nothing.
the Super 8
But my
motel,
compliance carried the whole house
felt heavier.
By the time I got home
walked
that
to
evening,
the front desk where
the
a
sky
tired
had
clerk
dimmed
lifted
into
his
that gray
eyes.
winter color
One
that
night
makes you
he
feel like the
asked,
whole day is sighing.
Yes. I
dropped
said,
my coat on the
just
chair.
one night,
set my bag down.
I handed over part
and
of my
opened
savings.
the family group chat
My
because
voice
some
did
part
not
of me
shake,
still
but
believed
something
maybe
inside
Mom
me
had
did.
reconsidered.
The key
She
card
had
slid
not
across the counter.
At the top of the
I closed
screen,
my hand around
Kyle
it,
had just
knowing
posted
this
a
was
message
not the
final
end of
head count
something.
for Christmas Eve
It
dinner.
was the beginning.
Please confirm
Philadelphia
so Mom
was
can
not
plan.
part of a plan.
Names rolled down
It
the
was
screen.
simply the
Aunt
farthest
Debbie,
bus I
Uncle
could
Henry,
afford with what was
Frank,
left of my
Janet,
$340.
2 cousins, their spouses.
By the time I stepped off,
then nothing.
Morning light was
Nothing where my
in,
name should have
dull
been.
and gray.
I waited a few
my
seconds,
legs ached,
hoping the cursor
and my
might move.
backpack felt heavier
someone
than it
would
had
add
the night
me.
before.
It stayed still.
I found a shared
A
house
house
listing
listing
scribbled
scribbled
on
on
a
my
bulletin
throat.
board inside a
I
campus
typed,
cafe.
Was my
One
name
room
left out by
available.
mistake?
Cheap rent.
Almost immediately.
4 roommates. Kyle
No
responded.
drama.
Limited
The last
seating
part
this
made
year.
me laugh under my
Mom
breath.
wants things peaceful.
I dialed the number.
Another ping followed.
A tired voice
So
answered.
maybe next
You
year.
looking for the room?
If we are not dealing
Yes.
with drama.
drama, I said. I stared at his words. I can pay the deposit in cash. Feeling heat gather under my skin. Move in today if you want. He always said things like that, casually cruel, left in a hurry. Like he was tossing scraps to a dog. I understood that feeling. Mom reacted to his message with a little heart emoji. The house smelled faintly of old carpet more than the text itself. A tall girl with a messy bun opened the door. I did not cause anything, she said. I just asked why you needed rent money again. You got boxes or something. Kyle sent a laughing emoji. Just this. Here we go. Lifting my backpack. You always make everything about money? Her eyebrows rose for a moment. Uncle Henry chimed in. Then she stepped aside. Kyle is doing fine.
Well,
Sarah, stop
welcome,
nitpicking,
I guess.
Mom added. The room
Please
was small,
do not
barely
start.
a bed.
We
a
want a
desk,
peaceful holiday.
and a creaky window.
Meanwhile,
but
not
no one
one
had ever
person
given
said,
me a space
include
without conditions
Sarah,
attached.
not even Dad.
That alone
I
made the
felt my
walls
jaw
feel kinder
tighten.
than the ones I
have
had
been
grown up
covering
with.
half the household
Jordan
bills
lingered
for
in the
over
doorway.
a year.
You
I
got
typed
plans
slowly.
here, I tutor.
If anyone
I
is
said,
making things peaceful,
or
it
I
is
did.
me.
I am
Kyle
hoping to
sent
find
congrats.
work.
She
Do you want a
nodded.
parade? Students
The
around
message
here
hit me
always
like
need
a
a
help.
shove.
I
Put a
want
flyer up in the
honesty.
cafe.
I wrote.
People check that
Mom
board every
replied.
day.
Stop.
That night.
You are ruining the
I wrote
mood.
my first
We will
tutoring
set a
flyer
plate
by
aside
hand
for you
because
if you
printing
change your
costs
attitude.
too much.
I
I
closed
tore
my
the bottom
eyes for
into
a
little
second.
tabs with my number.
You mean if I apologized
felt
to
small,
Kyle?
almost
Kyle sent a
embarrassing.
thumbs up,
but it was
that was
something.
when something
The next
inside me
morning,
cracked not loud.
I taped it to the
not
cafe
dramatic.
board. A
Just a
barista
small
glanced at
internal
me.
shift,
You a
like
student?
a single tile
No,
sliding out of place.
I said.
I typed
She
one more
nodded like she
line.
recognized
I
the weight
removed
under
my
my
card
answer.
from the family phone
Good
plan
luck.
today.
People will call.
The chat went silent
Back at the house.
instantly.
One
Kyle
of the other
finally
roommates
sent,
poked his
"Do
head
not
into the
get
kitchen as
stupid."
I boiled instant noodles.
Sarah, you the
I
new
looked
one,
at
he
the screen
asked.
and felt something
Yes.
surprising.
I'm Nate.
Not guilt.
If you
not
hear loud
fear.
music, it
Relief.
is usually me.
I powered off my
If you
phone
hear
and
yelling,
set it face down
it is
on
the
the
couple
table.
downstairs.
The apartment
If
was
you hear
quiet.
nothing,
But
this
this
time
we're all
it felt
broken
like
to
the quiet was mine.
He grinned.
Not something
Welcome
stolen
to the
from me.
ecosystem.
My seat
For the
at their
first
Christmas
time in a
table
long
was gone.
time. But
Someone
my name,
spoke to me
my
without
choices
expecting
were
anything
finally
in return.
back where they belonged.
That night,
With me,
my phone buzzed.
the next morning,
A number I did
my
not
phone
know.
rang before I had even
Hi.
brushed my hair.
I saw your flyer.
Dad's name lit
Are
up
you
the
available
screen.
for tutoring my
I let
son?
it ring twice before
My throat
answering.
tightened, not in fear,
Pumpkin,
but
he
something
said,
like hope.
voice strained.
Tutoring
Your
kept
mother
me
is
afloat
upset.
at first.
She
One
said you
student
picked a
turned
fight
into
in the
two,
group chat.
then three.
I told the truth.
Each session
I
paid just
replied,
enough to cover
"That
rent
is all."
and the cheapest groceries
He
I could
sighed.
find. The way
I
he
worked at the
always
cafe
did when he
during
wanted the
off-hours,
conversation to
hunched over
fold
my
in his
notebook,
favor,
drafting lessons
just
until my wrist
apologized to
throbbed.
Kyle.
But
But
I
I
kept
kept
going.
going.
Do not
Quiet
make
work
this
was
harder
still
than
better
it needs
than the
to be.
quiet I had grown up
I
with.
did not make it hard.
One evening, I said
Jordan
softly,
leaned against the doorway
Mom
of my
did.
room.
A
You look like you're
pause.
building a rocket in
Then,
here, she said.
You know how she
Just
gets
writing
when the
practice
holidays
exams.
are coming.
I
Just
answered,
be the bigger
for
person.
free. It helps
There
my
it was
students.
again. The family
She folded
rule
her
carved
arms.
into every
Mira,
conversation
you
Sarah
could build
bends
something bigger
so
than 1 hour
everyone else
sessions.
stays comfortable.
People buy full
I have to
courses
go.
online.
I said.
My cousin made one
and
about
hung
resume
up
writing,
before
and she
he
could
could
urge
urge
me
me
into
into
another
another
apology. I blinked.
I drove to
I
the
don't know how to
bakery
make
near
a
my
course.
apartment because
Jordan
I needed
shrugged.
something warm in my
Neither did
hands.
she.
Anything
YouTube
to
exists.
anchor me.
Use
The
it.
bell over
The
the
idea
door
lodged
jingled
itself
when I
in my
walked in.
chest.
Aunt
Bigger,
Debbie's voice hit me
scalable,
before the smell of coffee
something
did.
no one could take from
I
me.
am telling you,
That night,
she said loudly.
I opened my
Phone
laptop
pressed
and
to her
typed
ear.
how to create an
Kyle
online
is doing
course.
so well,
Hours
and Sarah
passed.
just cannot
Tutorials
stand
blurred
it.
together.
She always
Marketing
gets like
advice,
this when he is succeeding.
platform reviews,
I froze
editing
in line
basics,
behind her.
pricing
The
psychology.
cashier glanced at
It
me.
was endless,
recognizing my last
overwhelming,
name from the
but
conversation.
intoxicating. Her
It was
smile
possibility.
faltered.
The woman
By month
behind
8
me
in
muttered,
Philadelphia,
"That is
I made a
harsh."
decision.
Under her
I'm going to
breath.
do it.
Aunt
I
Debbie
told
finally
Jordan one
turned
morning,
and saw me,
clutching a notebook
her
filled with
eyebrows shot up.
outlines.
I'm
Oh,
making a complete
Sarah,
SAT course.
did not see
She
you
grinned.
there.
You
Hell
did.
yes, you
I said
are.
quietly. It took 3
She gave
months.
a quick, uncomfortable
3 months
laugh.
of recording voiceovers
Well,
under a blanket
you know
so
how
the roommates
family
wouldn't
talks.
hear.
Do
3
not
months
take
of editing
everything
slides
personally.
until my eyes
I am not
stung.
taking it personally.
3 months of
I
saving
said,
every
I am
spare
taking
dollar
it
until I
accurately.
finally had
Her eyes narrowed just a
$2,000 to
little.
launch a tiny
The way
ad
they always
campaign.
did when someone
When I
refused
clicked publish,
to shrink for her. My stomach flipped.
You should work things
What
out
if no
with
one
your
buys
mother.
it? I whispered
She
to
is
myself.
under stress.
A day
I
passed.
am
No
under
stress.
sales. A week.
I said.
2 sales.
But nobody
then
seems
5.
worried about that.
Then nothing again.
She opened her
I kept
mouth to
tutoring,
respond,
kept
but I
updating
stepped out of
lessons,
line and walked
kept
out the door
fighting the
before she
voice
could
inside me
finish.
that sounded too
The
much like
cold air
Marlene.
stung my
Why are
face,
you even
but it felt
trying?
cleaner than
One afternoon,
anything inside that
my
bakery.
phone buzzed.
I
A
sat
message
in
from
my
a number
car,
I did not know,
hands gripping the
"Hi,
steering wheel.
this is Rachel."
And breathed
I used your
slowly
course.
as the fog
I went
on
from
the
a
windshield
900 to a
faded.
1340.
The humiliation.
I got into Boston
the
University.
dismissal.
The
Thank
way
you.
every
My
voice
breath
in that
caught.
family
I reread
folded
the
me
message
into the
until
role
the words
they wanted.
blurred.
Then
I felt
Rachel
all
posted
of
a
it
TikTok
tightening
about
about my course 40 seconds of gratitude from a girl I had never met.
allowed myself
Within
to
a day,
consider.
the video
Something
exploded.
had to change.
Students tagged friends.
And this time,
Parents
it was
commented.
not going to be
Messages
me.
flooded in.
I had just
Sales
kicked my
doubled.
shoes off when
Then
my phone started
tripled.
vibrating
By
across
the
the
seventh
counter.
month, Kyle's
The course
name
earned
flashed on the screen like an alarm I had learned to
$14,500.
ignore. Jordan
This
nearly
time,
dropped her bowl of
I
cereal
answered.
when I told her. He did not bother with
Mira,
greetings. That's Okay.
She slapped a hand over her mouth.
I need a quick favor.
That's real.
My stomach tightened.
This is
what
real.
Kind of favor?
I know.
A Christmas thing.
My voice shook.
Cheerful
I actually
and confident.
did something
the
right.
tone he used when he
signed a lease on a small one-bedroom in University
I found
City.
this necklace Emma
Clean,
loves.
quiet,
but the sale ends tonight.
mine.
When the
just
realtor
need
handed me the
$320.
keys, she said, "I will pay you back Friday."
Congratulations.
He said
No
Friday
one had
the way
ever
some
said that
people
word to
say
me without
always.
bitterness hiding
No.
behind it. I said,
That night,
I
I stood
stood alone
silence
in my new living room.
No,
the
Sarah,
city humming faintly
it is
through the
Christmas.
windows. I know what
I
day
thought
it
of
is.
Selina's smug
scoffed.
smile.
So you
Marlene's
are really
tired
doing this
accusations.
because Mom is
Stephen's
upset.
silence.
Come on.
For the
Just
first
apologize
time in
so
my
she chills
life,
out.
none
and we
of
can
them
stop
felt
pretending
close
you are
enough to
mad.
hurt me.
I am not
And for the
pretending
first
anything.
time,
Kyle
the
let out a
future
felt
long,
like something I could
irritated
blame.
breath. You are
The
blowing this
notification
out of
tone cut through
proportion.
the quiet of my
Mom
apartment.
uninvited you
Sharp,
because you embarrassed
insistent.
me. You know how
At
she gets.
first,
Just
I ignored
fix
it. There is
Students
nothing to
messaged
fix.
me often with last-minute
said,
questions.
You keep
But
lying
the buzzing
about
didn't
money,
stop,
and I
grew
keep
louder,
covering it.
relentless.
That is the pattern.
Until finally,
Pattern,
I reached
he
for my
repeated,
phone.
offended.
6 missed
I
calls
am
from
doing
Marlene.
fine.
8
You
from
act
Selena.
like you are carrying
3
the whole
from a number
family.
I didn't recognize.
I am.
My chest
I said
tightened.
quietly.
Years of
And you
silence.
know it.
Shattered
Kyle's
in a
tone
single
sharpened.
moment.
You
The
are
phone
being
lit up
dramatic.
again.
You always
Incoming
get
call.
like this when someone calls you
Mom.
out.
Against
I felt
every
something settle
instinct,
inside me.
I
Not
answered.
anger.
Hello.
Not hurt.
Her breath
Clarity.
rushed through the speaker.
I am not giving you
Mira,
$320.
sweetheart, thank God.
I
We have
said,
been trying to
and
reach
I
you.
am done
You have not
being
tried
the
in
problem you
years,
blame when
I
the
said
truth shows
softly.
up.
A
He
pause.
tried one more
Then
time.
a thin,
Sarah,
trembling
I hung
voice.
up. The
We-
silence afterward
we
felt
need your
earned,
help.
like something
There
I had
it
bought
was.
for myself
Not
for the
an
very
apology,
first time.
A request.
I did not sleep that night.
What kind of help
My
I
mind
asked?
kept replaying
Marlene
every bill,
inhaled shakily.
every message,
Your father.
every moment I had
Stephen.
swallowed my own
He lost his
frustration
job
to
at the
keep
distribution
peace.
center.
By morning,
They downsized.
something inside
We
me
have
had
been
shifted
living
into
off credit
place
cards,
quiet,
and now everything is
steady,
overdue.
unshakable.
The balance is
I pulled
over
an empty notebook from my drawer
$11,000
and set it on the
and
table.
your sister,
My
16
tuition is
months.
short, I whispered to
Selena
myself.
cut in suddenly,
Let's
her voice
see it.
breathless.
I opened my
I need
banking history and started
$8,700
writing.
for the next semester,
One line
or
for
they
the
will
family
withdraw me.
mobile plan.
Withdraw
One
you,
line for
I
the
repeated.
utilities. And that
One line
is
for
somehow
Dad's medical
my
copays.
responsibility. One line for every
You are
transfer
doing
to cover
well,
emergencies
Marlene
that never
said
seemed
quickly,
to end,
as if she could outrun
pages
the
filled
accusation
quickly,
hiding underneath.
the numbers stacking
We
into
saw your
patterns that
website,
felt like bruises.
your videos.
When I
your
reached
course.
the end,
You are
I
making
wrote a
good
title at
money.
the top,
What
right
they
enough
do
to
not
help
know
your
is
family
about to
family.
save me. I
At
echoed.
10 o'clock,
Bitterness
I drove to
slipping
a small
through.
cafe across
Selena
town.
spoke again.
My mentor,
shakier
Rebecca
than I
Sloan,
remembered,
was already
We are drowning.
inside. Her hair
Mira,
tied back and her
I know
reading
we
glasses
weren't.
perched on her
We
head.
didn't always treat
she
you
waved
right.
me over, but you did not
sounded
treat
tense
me
on
at
the
all.
phone.
She
I
said as
said,
I slid into
"You
the booth.
pretended I didn't
I need help.
exist."
I replied.
We were stressed.
My voice
Marlene
cracked
snapped.
despite my best
A
effort.
crack in her fragile
Rebecca
tone.
studied me for half a
Things
second.
were hard.
Then nodded.
You know how families
Show
are.
me. I handed her the notebook.
I said.
She opened
I
it.
know how this
Page
family
after
was.
page. Her
The
brow
line went
tightening.
silent.
When she
Not
reached
the
the final
peaceful
total,
kind,
more like the
she
drop
exhaled
before an
slowly.
avalanche.
Sarah,
Then Stephen's
she
voice
said
came
softly,
through for the first
"This
time
is
in
not
years.
helping your family.
Quiet. This is
Rough.
enabling them.
Mira,
I looked down at my hands.
please.
They said I
need you.
embarrassed Kyle. My throat
Mom
tightened at the
uninvited
sound
me
of
from
him.
Christmas,
But I held the
She
line
shut the
steady.
notebook gently.
You need money.
Of course she did.
I said.
You disrupted
Not
the
me.
illusion. We need
I blinked.
both. Marlene
What illusion
whispered.
that Kyle is the
We need you to
responsible
come
one.
home.
That your mother is in
Home.
control.
The word
that
felt
your father is
foreign
not
in her
falling
mouth.
behind.
I am not
Your
your
silence
solution.
props all of that
I
up.
said.
I felt
Not
heat
anymore.
rise behind
Mira,
my eyes.
Selena's voice
I
cracked.
just did what they
Desperate.
needed.
I
No,
ended the call
Rebecca
before the
said.
guilt could reach me.
You did what they
The phone
expected.
buzzed again,
And they
but I
expected
set it face
because
down
you
on the
never
table.
said no.
The past had
A small
finally
tremor
come
ran
knocking,
through me,
and it
not
wanted something
fear,
I wasn't sure
not
I was willing
anger.
to give.
Something in
The messages
between.
came in waves.
I do not
Missed
know how to
calls,
undo it.
voicemails,
I whispered.
long texts from numbers
Rebecca
I didn't
pulled the notebook
recognize.
closer.
I ignored them
Then I
until
will show
Selena's
you.
name lit up my screen
Step
again,
by step.
followed by another
She pointed to
notification,
each category.
a voice message.
First,
I
revoke every
hesitated,
auto payment
then
linked
pressed
to your
play.
accounts. Her voice
Second,
cracked almost
separate
immediately.
the phone line registered in your
Mira,
name.
I
Third,
know I hurt you.
Document
I know I was
everything in case
awful.
they blame you.
I do not even
They
know why
already
I
blame
acted
me.
that way.
I
just-
said,
everything
that
is
is
falling
because
apart
you are
now.
changing the script.
And Mom keeps saying
She
it is
was all my fault, and people always attack the person who rewrites the story. I need help. Hard. If I do this, I stare everything will fall on them. The sound of her crying filling the room. Part of me felt they held something for once. Instinct. I left the cafe with a notebook tucked under my arm that was trained to soothe strangely steadying her. For the first time in 16 months, slowly, I was not just reacting. I was preparing. Now, I sent it by Sunday afternoon. I had completed every step Rebecca laid out. This time auto payments revoked. Selena's breath hit. Separated. Mira, documentation saved. We are your family. My phone was quieter than it had been in years. I said. An emptiness that felt tense. You cannot still be angry about things from high school. Mom appeared. It was not Wi-Fi is down again. Can you fix it remotely? It was my entire childhood. It is not in my name anymore. Stretched. I could hear her swallow hard. An hour later, kids. Kyle posted a photo on social media. Was not a kid. Him at a table covered in wrapping paper. Stephen smiling wide with a caption that read, "Real loyalty is not about money." But I pushed through it. He knew exactly what he was doing. Exactly what you were doing. I muted him before the comments started. Shakily. Around 8. I am sorry. My phone now. Rang. You are sorry. Mom again. I said. I let it go to voicemail because you pressed play. I am trying between irritation and fear. I am trying to fix the electric company emailed that it is not mine to fix. They said service might be interrupted in 2 days. Heavier. What did you do? Mira, call me back. Voice set the phone down and breathed in. If you do not help, slow I might lose everything. At 9, you already lost me. Another call came this time from Aunt Debbie. Years ago. As usual. Her sob things fall apart when you get emotional. And small. She said the second I answered, your mother is overwhelmed. My mother is overwhelmed because she does not pay her own bills. Fall apart. I said. She gasped. Please, offended. No, you cannot speak to family like that. This time. Then maybe family should stop expecting me to carry them. Not out of cruelty, I replied, but clarity. Your brother would never. For the first time, I cut her off. The boundary held. My brother has never paid for anything. 3 minutes later, her silence was sharp. My phone buzzed again, but this time. I did not reach for it before she recovered. I was halfway through answering student emails when my building's intercom buzzed with one sharp, unexpected ring that made my pulse kick. Growing by the minute, Dalton was no longer mine. The security guard said. Mom called again the next morning. Earlier than usual. There are 3 people downstairs insisting they are your family. The electric bill still has not gone through. A man named Stephen. And your father is worried. A younger woman. I do not understand what is happening. You do. Do you want me to turn them away? He asked. You just do not want to. A long breath, a sharp inhale. No, do not talk to me like that. I will come down. Come over. My legs felt stiff as I walked to the elevator. We need to figure this out. By the time I reached the lobby, I almost said no. Slid open to a side. But something deeper steadier told me the time had come. But never like this. I will come by. Marlene stood near the glass windows. I am bringing the binder. Red and swollen. She did not ask what binder, like she had slept Maybe she already knew she would hovered behind her. Hands when I nervously twisting the strap of a worn backpack. The air inside felt the smallest I had ever seen her. Were bracing shoulders caved inward. Only the Christmas tree lights smudged. Blinking Marlene stepped forward immediately. Dad sat at the kitchen table. We thought you never answered. We did not know what else to do. Arms crossed. Showing up here was not the answer. His head as I walked in. She flinched at the hardness in my voice. We drove all night. It is not. We needed to talk. I replied. Selena's voice. I set my binder on the table. Please. Its weight landed with students passed behind me, laughing as they walked outside. Might explode. For a moment. What is that? I wondered how strange we must look. 3 broken people facing the daughter they once over the last 16 months. I swallowed. Mom's lips twitched. Let's go somewhere private. We never asked you to. We rode the elevator in silence. You did. I said. When the doors closed behind us on my floor. Marlene touched the frame gently. I opened the binder and turned it toward them. Might reject her. The first page held a printed list. 16 months of phone bills. They lingered near the utilities as though they expected to be thrown out. Copays. Stephen's dad blinked hard, voice low. Kyle said he was covering most of this. I am sorry. I slid my finger down the page. He had never said those words to me ever. Mom snapped. I should have stepped in. If this is about embarrassing him, no, I should have protected you. This is about you believing whatever makes life easiest worse than they should have been. To the next page. Marlene looked at him sharply. For emergencies. Then back at me. Each one dated made mistakes. Dad's we are trying to fix them now. Defeated you are trying to survive. Why did you never tell us? Because you never asked. There is a difference. Selena swallowed hard. Mom stiffened. I know you hate me. Kyle stepped up. I do not hate you. He told us he was helping after your father's surgery. I just finally stopped breaking myself to make you comfortable. Screenshot. Tears, the one I had dreaded showing, but knew was necessary. If Kyle's message, do not tell them you paid. They will remove me from the program. Stepped up. I am
Mom
trying.
covered her mouth.
Mira, Dad looked like someone had knocked the air out of him. Everything is falling apart.
Neither of them could
Marlene
speak.
stepped closer.
When Mom finally found her
Please.
voice,
You have
it was
resources
thin.
we do not. You can help us
he
get
told
back on
us
our
you were
feet.
being dramatic. And then
I was
what
being
I asked,
drained. You go
I
back
said,
to pretending I
Dad
do not
reached
matter.
for the binder
Her
like he
face
needed
crumpled.
proof I was not exaggerating.
That is not
fair.
This is.
I let out a breath.
This is a lot.
Fair.
Sarah,
You told me the
it is
family would be
everything
better
I
off
had.
without me.
I
That
said.
was years ago.
He flipped through
She
several
whispered,
pages,
and it
his
was
hand
enough.
trembling. Stephen
We did
cleared
not
his
know.
throat.
You
We
did
drove
not
all
want
this
to
way
know.
because
I corrected
because
gently.
we need you.
Mom
No,
slowly sank
I
into
said,
the chair across from
you
me.
need my money.
Her eyes were wet
For a
but
moment.
conflicted. No
Like
one
she
spoke.
was grieving something
The
she
truth
could not
settled
name.
in the room. I
Uncomfortable and
She started,
undeniable.
then stopped.
Selena's voice
I
cracked.
thought Kyle was
I am
finally
begging you.
trying.
I felt something
He was
flicker
lying.
an old
I
ache.
said,
A version
and you
of me
believed
who
him
would have
because it was
folded
easier
instantly.
than believing me.
But she was
Dad
gone.
swallowed hard.
I cannot save you.
Pumpkin.
We
I
never
said
meant you
quietly,
did not have to mean
not
it.
this time.
I said softly.
Marlene's
You
breath
just had to let
hitched,
it happen.
like
the air had been
They
knocked
both
out of
sat
her.
in stunned
Stephen
silence,
closed his eyes,
absorbing
Selena's
the truth
shoulders
line
shook.
by line.
They looked at me like I was
page
the
by
last
page.
door in a burning
Finally,
building. And
Dad
still,
looked up
I
at
did
me
not
with an
open it.
expression I had
For a
never
long
seen
moment,
on his face
none of us
before.
moved.
Fear,
My family
mixed
stood
with
clustered
regret
near the doorway.
What? Looking at
What
me
are you
as if
going
I
to
held
do?
the last
I
oxygen
closed
tank
the
in a
binder
sinking
gently.
ship.
Nothing.
The same people
I
who
said,
once told me I was a
I am
burden
not asking for
now
a penny
stared
back.
at me with a kind
Mom
of
exhaled
fragile, invisible
desperation
relief
that almost
I am done.
softened something
I
in my
added,
chest.
done paying,
Almost.
done covering.
Marlene reached for
done
me
pretending
first.
everything is
Mira,
fine.
please.
Her relief vanished.
We can start over.
Dad rubbed
We
his
can
forehead.
make this right.
We do not know
You
how to
cannot
manage all
undo
this on
what was
our own.
done.
That
I
is because
said.
you never had to.
My voice stayed level.
I said,
even as
now
my
you
pulse
will.
hammered.
The
You
kitchen
cannot
fell
rewrite
quiet
the
again,
years you ignored
broken
me.
only by the
Stephen
soft
stepped
hum of the
forward,
refrigerator.
his hands shaking
Mom leaned
slightly.
forward. I understand
If you
that.
stop,
I know
everything
we
will
failed
fall
you.
apart.
His voice cracked.
I met her eyes.
But we are asking
Then maybe
for a
it is
chance.
time you learn how to hold
you
things
are asking
without
for
me.
relief.
Neither of
I
them
replied,
argued.
Those
For the
are not the
first
same
time
thing.
in my life. Selena
They
wiped her
didn't.
face with her sleeve.
The front door opened
I know
before
it was
either
horrible.
of my parents could
I
respond.
know that. Cold
but I am
air
trying to
swept
change.
in,
Followed
I do
by
not
Kyle's
want to lose
voice.
everything.
Mom,
I looked at
Dad,
her carefully.
did you
Once,
figure out the bill thing
I would
yet?
have moved heaven and
He
earth
walked
to
into
keep
the
her
kitchen,
safe.
brushing
Once,
snow off his jacket
I
until he saw
believed
the
she
binder.
might one day see me
His
as something
steps
more
slowed.
than the person who
His
cleaned up her
smile
messes.
slipped. What is that?
You already
he
lost
asked.
me.
I said
Mom did not
softly.
answer. Selena's
Dad
breath
just caught
stared at the
small.
table.
Sharp,
Kyle looked
like
between
a
us.
wound tearing
Seriously?
open.
What is
Marlene
going
bristled.
on?
I
You
turned
would
the
really
binder
watch your
toward him.
family fall
Open
apart
to
like
the
this.
screenshot of his message.
I met her
The one
eyes.
where he had written,
You watched
"Do
me
not
fall
tell them
apart
you
for
paid.
years.
They need to think
That
I stepped
silenced
up."
her.
His
I
jaw
walked to my
clenched.
bookshelf and pulled
You were
out the
not supposed
small
to show them
frayed
that.
journal I had filled
Mom's
throughout
voice
my
cracked.
childhood. The one I
Kyle,
hid underneath
you
the
told
loose
us you were
floorboard.
helping.
The one
He
Marlene
scoffed.
once called
I
dramatic
did help.
nonsense when
I
she
kept
kept
things
it and
calm.
threw it away.
No.
Not realizing
I
I
said,
had pulled it from the
"You
trash.
kept them misinformed."
I held it out.
He shot me a
Marlene
glare.
stared at it like
You
it
are
burned.
twisting this.
What is
Sarah,
that everything?
You love
I said,
playing the victim.
Every night I
Playing
cried
the
myself to
victim,
sleep.
I repeated softly.
Every time you believed
I paid
Selena
16
over me.
months of bills
Every
you claimed
moment
credit
I
for.
spent wishing someone,
Kyle stepped
anyone would
closer.
choose me. Lowering his
She
voice
reached for
like
it
an hesitation
hesitantly.
still worked. Read it.
You
I
are
said,
making me look bad.
Every page
You
is a
made
reason
yourself
I
look
cannot
bad.
go back.
I said.
Selena
I just
whispered,
stopped hiding
Mira,
it.
please
Mom pressed
do
a
not
hand
do
to her
this.
forehead.
I
Why
stepped
would
back,
you lie to us?
gripping the door handle.
Kyle threw
I
up his
built my
hands.
life without you.
Because if you thought Sarah
Now
was
you can
handling
build
everything,
yours without
you
me.
would freak out.
Tears
You always
streamed
freak
down
out.
Selena's cheeks.
Dad's voice came out faint.
Stephen lowered his
wounded.
head.
You let your sister
Marlene
carry all
clutched
of
the
this,
journal as if
and
it
you
weighed
let him.
100 pounds.
I said.
I am
Kyle
done.
turned back to
I
me,
said quietly,
his composure slipping.
Goodbye.
So what?
And I closed the door
You are just
gently,
walking away,
not angrily,
leaving them like this.
but with
I am
finality
leaving them
that
like
settled
adults.
deep in my bones.
I answered. My
On
voice
the other
was steady,
side,
which
I heard
includes
someone
you.
gasp.
He stared
Then
at me,
muffled voices,
angry and
then
stunned,
footsteps
as if the
fading down
script
the
he
hall.
depended on had suddenly
Inside
been
my
rewritten
apartment,
without him.
Silence
And in a way,
settled like a clean
it
breath.
had.
The boundary
Dad was
held.
the first to speak
A
after
year
Kyle
passed
stormed out of the
quietly.
room,
The
his
kind of
footsteps
quiet
echoing
that no
down the
longer
hallway.
felt like erasure.
Pumpkin,
My
SAT course expanded into a small online academy.
His voice held none of the pressure it used to only
I hired
uncertainty.
2 part-time
Almost
tutors to help
fear.
manage the overflow
I will
of
see
students.
how I feel.
Each month
said,
brought in more than
I am not making decisions out of
$22,000.
guilt anymore.
Steady
Mom
and clean.
looked up at me,
Earned
eyes
without permission
tired,
from anyone
edges
who once
softening.
doubted me.
We did not
One
realize how
afternoon,
much you handled.
I met Jordan at a
I know,
cafe a few blocks
I
from
said,
my building.
but now
She
you
grinned
do.
as she slid into
I
the
closed
chair.
the binder,
You
slid it under my
realize you
arm,
built this
and
from a
walked
room with
toward the
peeling
door.
paint.
No one
Right.
tried to stop me this
That
time.
is insane.
Outside,
It feels
the
like
air
someone
hit my
else's
face
life.
sharp and cold.
I
But
admitted.
it felt clean. No, I walked
She
to my
said,
car without looking back.
It is yours.
My hands did not
You
shake
fought
when I
for
started
it.
the engine. Her words settled
On the drive
inside me
home,
warm in
I
a way
kept
I
waiting
was
for
still
regret
learning
to
to
show up.
trust. It never
When I got
did.
home,
the
my
only thing I
laptop
felt
chimed.
was space
A new
wide.
email from an
Bright,
address I knew too well.
unfamiliar. From Marlene Dalton,
that
subject,
night,
if you ever want to
after
talk.
making tea in my
I stared
quiet
at the
kitchen,
line. I
not
opened
with
my
anger,
phone, not with
messages
longing,
blinked
in the corner of the
just
screen.
stillness.
But I did not
I
touch
closed
them.
the laptop.
I let the
My
silence
story
breathe.
was no longer tied to people
If you have
who only
ever
saw me
taken
when
your
they
life
needed
back
saving.
one boundary
I
at
had
a
built
time.
something strong.
You know this
something
moment.
that belonged entirely
this
to
story
me.
feels close
and
to
as I
yours.
stood in the
You can
soft
share
hush
where you
of
are
my
listening
apartment,
from, or tap
I
subscribe
felt a
so you do not
surprising
miss
pull,
what comes next.
not toward
For the first
past,
time in years,
but toward
my
every
story
person
finally felt
listening
like
now
it was mine.
who has ever felt small in their own home. If you have ever been the forgotten one, the quiet one, the one who had to rebuild from nothing, stay with me. There is more to tell, and I want you here for all of it.